What's up? What's up? Welcome back to Talking to Myself, capital S. So, I was going to talk about some things that I shared in the other videos of what I was going to lead into, the savior complex. That's what it was. But what I feel called to talk about, which is very alive in my life right now, is no longer settling. And how the transformation journey gets you to come face to face with all the areas that you have been settling. It's like a renovation. When everybody talks about changing and transforming their lives, what they see as the hard part is the building process. That's actually not the hard part. And when they say the building process, they talk about the adding new habits, adding the new routines, the changes, the new things that you want. But again, that's not really the hard part. The hard part is the demolition. So you want to see it as the renovation is the vision that you have for yourself, right? You have this house, the house being you, your home, and you have this vision as to this is what I actually want my home to look like. What I currently have, I'm not happy with. And I'm not happy with it because I settled for some things. So I want things to be different. And I want my home to actually be how I want it to be. And people think adding the new stuff is what's hard. If you try to add stuff on top of what's already there, yeah, that's hard. Because there's no space, there's clutter. And that's why the new habits, the new ways of being don't really last long because you can't build on top of what's already there. It's kind of like, okay, you have a couch that you don't like. It's a beat up couch and you really want a nice suede couch. You can't put the couch in front of that one. Now there's no space for anybody to sit. You have to get rid of the old one. So with the whole renovation analogy, going through the demolition process is what's hard because you come face to face with the things that you've been holding on to, the sentimental things. And kind of like the soda can analogy that we spoke in the other one, you start to see all these things that you've allowed to take place, right? To take place in your home using the renovation. And you have to tear everything down. Everything down. If you're doing a true deep renovation, you're essentially breaking everything down to like the bones of the house, just the studs. And to make sure that there's no mold, there's no because when you do the renovation, you want it to be like long lasting. You want it to be where I don't have to worry about anything else anymore. I'm happy. This is exactly how I envisioned it to be. If you just try to rush it, you're like, I don't feel like going that deep into it. I don't feel like, taking off the sheetrock and everything. Let's just build on top of it. Let's just move the furniture and put it back up. There could be some mold and stuff behind the walls, and the new version that you created now doesn't have a solid foundation. You really, to have a complete renovation of your life, strip everything down to the core of you, to the core of your home. And you get to see truly what is a match to the vision that you have for yourself, for your life, for your home. So when you think about like the kitchen, right? Your dream kitchen compared to the kitchen that you have now. What are you going to keep from the old kitchen, if anything at all? And you go through this process of letting things go that had such deep meaning to the part of you that held on to it. And that's where all the patterns really come into the light. And most importantly, you get to see the ways that you've been settling. And that sucks the most. That hits so deep to where in the back of your mind as you made the choice to settle for the things that you don't want, in the moment, you knew that's not what you wanted. But because you didn't know if you would be able to get what you truly want, you're like, okay, I'll make do with what I have. And that blow to your worth sucks. And as you start to remind yourself, this is my home, this is my life, I get to build it exactly how I want it to be. But in order for that to happen, I have to let go of the people, the places, and the things that do not match that. And it's not to say it's forever, because things are in a constant state of change. But you have to lead by example as to what that change is. And if the change is honoring your worth, you have to be willing to stand by that. And it takes seeing why it makes sense to question that to begin with. And as you go through the process of stripping everything down, now the sucky part is feeling like you're starting over, right? Because essentially your house was built. You had all the furniture, you had everything that you wanted, pictures on the wall, and now you're back to just studs. So it's like, okay, it may feel that way, but you're actually starting with experience, because you're no longer trying to figure out where the rooms are. You're just now figuring out, and you have the freedom to change out the layout, so to speak. And what I mean by the layout is you could change out your career. You could change anything you want in your life. Nothing is stagnant. Nothing is solid. Nothing is permanent forever. So you get to now tap into your vision, tap into your imagination, but from the space of possibility rather than the space of scarcity. You get to now see it from the lens of what do I want rather than this is what I have to deal with. And it's in these little ways of through the pain, right? Because to the degree that something hurts, it heals. To the degree that something hurts, it soothes. And as you experience the pain, there's almost this realization of like, okay, this was what I was afraid of. This was like the worst case scenario, me not wanting to sit with this emotional pain. I'm in it. I'm feeling it. I'm not leaving my side. So if I'm going to feel this anyway, right? And whenever we ignore it before making the choice to truly change, there's like these constant little hits of pain. And that's why we go towards the path of distraction. We don't want to feel that pain. But when you sit with it and you're like, F it, I'm here, I'm feeling it, let's go. There's this realization of, I'm still alive, I'm good. So what now? What do I want? If I don't have to settle for the things that are before me, I get to ask for what I want. And I get to not waver in that, right? Not feel bad about asking for what I truly want. What does that look like? And that's why through the transformation process, there's always the period of isolation, because it helps you get clear on you. You don't have to take other people into consideration. You don't have to, and it starts to dissolve the illusion of that you're going to be alone, because you're already alone. You're experiencing the discomfort of being alone. And you start to see through the illusion of the fear of that being forever. Cool. That's like a layer of it, right? The pain of just being with yourself and being with your pain. And then from there, it's like, okay, now I'm free to just renovate my home however I want. Before, I designed my home in a way that would make it palatable for the people that would visit my home. But I'm the one that lives there. The people that are coming into my life, they come and go. I'm the one that's living in my home, right? And it doesn't feel exactly as I want it to be. It's not my dream home. It's a nice home, but it's not my dream home. I'm not looking forward to it. When I wake up, I'm not excited as to where I am and how I want it to be and how I want it to feel. And once you strip everything down, now, after that pain of letting that go, and also part of the pain of letting it go is seeing all the relationships and all the different ways of there was a reliance, right? And it could be in the form of finances. It's to where you're settling for a job, or you're settling for a relationship or something with somebody because they're providing a sense of stability, but you're truly not happy deep inside. And you get to now see, if you were to just start from scratch, right? Scratch. What does that look like? If you don't have to choose a job based on financial security, to choose a job that you truly love, that will have you excited for life, what does that look like? Because if you remember anything about yourself is you're naturally driven. When you do something that you love, you're going to be lit up to show up even more and expand beyond belief. It's just work doesn't feel exciting right now because you're doing something that's not exciting to you. Same thing with a relationship. Yeah, maybe there's arguing and there's this, I have to deal with this because, it's helping with bills in some way or whatever the thing is. What would a dream relationship feel like? And it may be scary. It's like, well, we either have a kid together or we live together or, okay, again, this is your home. This is your life. Don't you want to wake up in your dream home, in a dream relationship? Like my mantra for me, I'm living my dream life for the rest of my life with the love of my life. That's something I created for myself when I was in my lowest moment. And no matter what's going on, I come back to that. And to be with yourself through the demolition process, because you know what it took for you to stay by your side as you stripped everything down and threw it all out, released it, let it go. Now you start to unapologetically ask for what you want. And people consider that, well, not consider, they call it confidence. What it is, it's self-trust that you're no longer willing to abandon yourself for the things that you truly want. No matter how much you like somebody, if you see something that's not in resonance to what you really want, you're willing to let that person go. Same thing with a job opportunity, with anything that's not truly what you want, you're not willing to compromise you. And that's the deepest and heaviest part of the demolition process, right? The heaviest part of the soul renovation that takes place when you make the decision to transform your life. It's worth it though, because it's heavy as you go through it. But when you wake up and your home is exactly as you want it to be, life is so much more effortless because you look forward to being home. You look forward to all the things that you want. And even with like a storm coming, right? Even if things get turbulent, because your foundation is so secure and you know that because you went through the demolition process, you broke everything down to the core and you made sure that the foundation is solid. No matter what storm comes, you know you're stable and secure. You can come back home. You're safe home. And that's the most beautiful thing. So what happens is in the renovation process, right, when you have this vision of how you want your life to be, how you want your home to be, you raise your standard, your energetic standard. And as you continue throughout the home, because your home is not this small, just one bedroom apartment. You're an expansive, limitless being. Your home is the most beautiful, magnificent, lavish mansion you have ever experienced. It's an estate. And as you go from room to room, right, you continue to expand, right? Because as you get used to this nice one-bedroom home, you're like, okay, now I have a partner. I want to expand to like a 3-bedroom. Oh, I have these new people in my life, my community. I want to expand it. You just continue expanding. As you continue to do that, you'll start to see all the areas that are not a match to your new energetic standard. And you have the choice every single time. Are you willing to let your standard dip in this one area? And if you do, that's not a stable foundation. So that dip is going to get louder and louder to get you to make the choice. Is this your new energetic standard, or is it not? And that's the choice of you being willing to choose yourself. And you start to realize there is no benefit to you or anybody else in your life when you make the decision to settle. Because what you're doing, and ways of settling, is through sacrifice. Because sacrifice is glorified as this beautiful thing to do. But it's not. It's not at all. What you're inspiring to other people is lack. You're inspiring to other people that you truly can't get what you want. Because everybody is inside like a child, right? When you look at children, children don't pay attention to the words that you say. They could really care less. Even as they get older, everybody follows your example, your actions, what you do, how you carry yourself. That's why when parents say, don't do as I do as I say. That shit never works. And immediately the kid is like, what kind of bullshit is that? So that echoes for the rest of your life. People see what you do. It's your actions that matter. How do you carry yourself? Do you truly practice what you preach, or are you just doing a whole lot of hot air and you're completely doing the opposite of that and being a walking contradiction? So, and then lacking integrity with who you are, because nobody's telling you have to be that way. You're the one that's creating this person in real time. So when you see that what you're instilling to other people is how you're living a life the way you believe a life should be lived, right? An example that I saw one time in a vision was being a soul, observing Earth, and then thinking to myself, man, if I were to be human, I would live life in this way. And now I have the opportunity to do that. So times that I forget, I remind myself, like, okay, I get to live life the way I believe a life should be lived. And that's what everybody is doing. There's no one way to be. So if you sacrifice yourself, again, it's portrayed as being admirable. But if you were to be the main character of your life movie, have everything that you want, and this is what I'm going to cover in the Savior Complex, is how I got cracked open. But let's say you're the main character of your life movie. You finally got everything that you wanted. The community, the lover, the home, everything. You're living your dream life. But right as that's happening, you're presented with an option to save the world. And in order to save the world, you have to sacrifice yourself. And that's going to be the happiest ending that's possible for the movie and everybody. That's kind of a sad experience. It may sound beautiful, right? It's very well intentioned. Yeah, I get to save everybody. But what's sad is anytime the character gets sacrificed within the movie and you see it happening, it's sad because you see they're not going to be able to experience their happy ending. It's stripped away from them. So what you get to do, and it's something I got to hear from myself, is to live life through the clarity of your example. Live life by example. Lead by example. What does happiness look like to you? What does a no look like to you? Because in order to go towards happiness, you have to say you have to say no to what's not happiness to you. And it's acknowledging that you're no longer willing to sacrifice yourself and sacrifice your happiness and sacrifice your life. Nobody else is feeling your emotions but you. Nobody is thinking your thoughts but you. And any feelings of feeling invisible is you feeling that about you. I felt invisible for such a long time, and I'm like, am a very well-intentioned person. I'm loving, I'm caring. Yeah, I have a strong personality, but I am so loving inside. Like, when I see people, even though I can see through people's masks, I love them through that. I can be staring at your shadow and see the core of you beyond that and love you beyond that. That's the safety I exude. And it used to get me so mad. I used to be so hurt and confused and angry. And I started to see I was feeling invisible because I was feeling invisible by me. I was willing to sacrifice myself to people please and make sure everybody else was okay and taken care of and save them through their journeys. But I wouldn't create time for me. I wouldn't say no to things that were not lined up with the things that make me happy, because it would make other people feel hurt and sad. And I cared so much about how they felt. But over and over and over in all these little ways, I'm sacrificing the main character of my movie. And it's nobody else's fault. Nobody else can feel that I'm doing that but me. And I was afraid because I was afraid of experiencing pain. I was trying to save other people from their pain. And as I sat with the pain, I got to see there's nothing to save anybody from. Pain provides clarity. Pain serves an immense purpose. So, for sure, the next episode, I'm going to go into the savior complex because this just sets it up perfectly. It was supposed to be this episode, but it actually works out. But I really wanted to drop in about the aspect of the concept of no longer settling, but also the analogy of the soul renovation, your home renovation, and the demolition process. Because it's the letting go that everybody has a hard time with. Everybody. That's why everything is all about let go, let go, let go, let go. And everybody's like, how? How do you let go? And you let go by honestly exercising your no. And that ties into any areas where you settle and not being willing to settle at all for anything. And that vision of like, there's a picture of Jesus, I believe. He's holding like a big ass teddy bear behind him. As I say that, you know which image I'm talking about. But yeah, he's holding a big teddy bear behind him. There's the little girl. She has a small teddy bear. And he's like, just give me the teddy bear. I promise you it's going to work out. She's like, no, but I love it. It's the one that you gave me. He's like, I have everything that you want and more if you just let go. And it's trusting that when you do let go, you're not going to be abandoned. You're not going to be abandoned by life the same way you have abandoned yourself. And that's the shit that hurts. Just that sentence within itself. But when you show yourself through the process of the renovation, soul renovation, that no matter how intense it feels, you're never going to abandon you. You're not going to judge you, guilt you, shame yourself for anything. For any reason that it made sense to hold on to the things that you placed within your home that you know didn't belong there. That you're going to meet all parts of you with unconditional love. And you're going to trust yourself to never leave your side. Trust yourself to not make yourself feel bad for any of it. And if anything, you're going to love yourself even more. That level of trust, that level of safety, that you can be seen and met with you, that's going to unlock such an immense level of unconditional love for yourself that you'll be able to love people to the nth degree. And now it'll unlock that voice that you have within you, your imagination, to really expand now, because it's not going to be afraid to ask for what you truly want because it knows you're actually listening this time. Ooh, this was good. I'm glad I did it. Did it right before I went to the gym. So I'm wishing you an amazing day. If it's nighttime by you, I'm wishing you an amazing night, and I will catch you later.